What do you think the last week has done for your football team heading into this one?
That'd be hard to say. I think there's a little different feel in the building. I think everybody is taken to Coach Guyton. I think everybody's excited for him. But obviously, I think we've got some bumps and bruises healed up a little bit better than what we had before. But it'd be hard to say. I'll know a little bit more, how we adjust to the new offense and things of that nature. Or the less offense, I guess would be a better way to say it. We'll know more about that as the week progresses, I think.
Coach, you mentioned get some bumps and bruises healed. Is there any chance for Rocket Sanders this week?
Well, he's back, so we'll see. I anticipated practicing today, but how much he can do, I don't know.
Sam, I think I've got this right. Moody was in uniform against Mississippi State but didn't play. Is he going to be full go for you this week?
Well, he was full go. He's still trying to work his way into playing time.
And you mentioned simplifying the playbook, condensing it down. Is that process done now? Now you're focusing in on your set of plays, and what maybe do you know what kind of percentage is, like 50% of the playbook, or do you know?
Man, probably about 30%. Probably cut another 5 last night, to be honest with you, because some of the things we had in, I want to be able to do it with that everybody's on the same page, blocking the right guys, and playing as fast as we possibly can with ability to have that tempo and all those type things.
Just curious with Kenny, I know he's coaching quarterbacks now, but his experience as a receiver, now being the offensive coordinator, are there any ways where he can maybe start to maximize the wide receiver unit now that he's calling plays?
Well, he knows them better than anybody, so I think targets for whom he thinks are his best players is going to be big for us. So we've got to speed up all that process. We hope to protect better and those things of that nature, but we also have to be able to move the pocket, add different chips, and add and do it in a game. And so there's a lot to be said about all that kind of stuff.
All right, everybody, happy Monday. Let's get through this. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on? Welcome, everybody. Tuss Talk with Ty. Monday with a new look, a little different. So hope you guys, hope you can dig it. I brought the bookshelf up a little bit, so it's right behind me. It's almost like this. It's breathing down my neck. But I hope you guys dig it. Some new looks. Shout out to Travis Ford with the hookup. Direct service overhead, man. Not only does he own an awesome garage repair / replacement company, but man, he could do a little bit of artwork too on the Photoshop. He knows how to work Adobe. You go, Travis, if you're in chat. All right. Yeah, Mama, there goes that man. Indeed. Get a little sippy sip of the tea. Hits the spot, baby. All right, make sure you guys like, share. If you're new here, tap the subscribe button. What's up, John Hawes, Austin Foster, Sir Matt Hill. Yeah, man. All right. So we already, got it rocking and rolling today. It is a Monday, but man, it was a good weekend. Like, it's okay to be a little bummed out that it's a Monday, but then you got to think back and be thankful for what happened this weekend. You got a little taste. Actually, I should say you got a lot of taste of what might be in store, of what could be in store for Arkansas Razorback basketball this year in the 2023/2024 season. Did you like what you saw on Saturday? I had a blast. We did the streamer companion with Don't Read the Comments pod. Those guys are awesome. Travis Ford and Tim Neal. It's always so fun with those guys. Highly recommend. They're recording a new episode, I believe, this week. Okay, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed they give us a new episode this week. They're a lot of fun to be around, and yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to work the damn mini split. You know what a mini split is. It's feels like it's slowly becoming the replacement of an AC or central heating unit. I'm trying to figure out how to keep this thing to where it's not always on. So I've had it off for the last few hours, and now the garage / studio is a little chilly in here. Might have to put a beanie on here in a minute. We've had an Enos. I like that ectomy. That's good. There you go, man. Let's go, Travis. New look is awesome. Thanks, James. How's it going, James Swope? It's been a minute since I've seen you in here. What's up? How about them Cowboys? Yeah, Chris. You know, I was in a good mood. I will say this. Basketball was great. Rams are horrible. They're the Arkansas Razorbacks of the NFC. But I went 3-0 in fantasy football. I kicked ass on college football pick'ems in the Tuss Talk with Ty Discord. If you're not in on that, there's like 20-something people that are on that are a part of that, and I jumped my way up all the way to the top 3 spot. So yeah, man. My Lakers suck this year, says Johnny Jones. Celtics, I'm feeling pretty good. I think, we'll see. We'll see what they do this year. We'll see. No more waiting for basketball. It's that time of year, man. Perfect timing. Time on the drive home from Corpus. There you go, John. Hey, man. Glad I can ride along with you in your speakers, sir. All right. Yeah, again, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. All that wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Boy, how about Georgia and Florida this weekend? Georgia mopped the floor with the Gators. My goodness, 43-20. You hope that lingers over to next weekend. On one hand, you're like, so you're telling me there's a chance. You're telling me that Arkansas's got a shot here at doing something because Georgia beat the hell out of them. On the other hand, it's like, we know. Different OC, Kenny Guyton. We heard Sam in the intro coming into this, what he had to say, a little bit. Now, the media, and one of the reasons why I'm able to be here with you right now, typically I would be at practice right now. They have shut off practice to the media. Listen, this is only my second season to have that kind of access at the with the football program. And I don't know how common this is. They didn't do it once last year. They didn't do it during spring camp of this year. They didn't do it through fall camp. They didn't do it last year. You kind of understand why they're doing it. You get it with Kenny Guyton. They want to make this Razorback football centric. Sam wants these guys to focus on the task at hand and try to make things a little bit more comfortable, I guess, for Kenny Guyton. And some of it too, I'm sure a lot of it actually is that they don't want to give anything away. They don't want to show anything. They are not running the veer and shoot. I think some people have their minds made up that, well, he knows the veer and shoot, so that's what we're going to see. You might see something that looks similar, and maybe at the end of the day, what we see is really similar to the veer and shoot, but maybe not quite. I mean, obviously, you're going to have somebody else dialing the buttons. It's not KB, it's not Kendall Browse. We'll see what they do. I think it's going to be pretty damn. I think the goal is, and they said they're going to reduce the current playbook by 35%. He said 30%, and then I guess they scrapped another 5% last night. So the 35%, they've reduced the playbook. I think you are going to see, and I'm really trying to save this for Friday, but you'll see something that looks similar to the veer and shoot. A lot of RPO, a lot of high tempo, trying to keep the defense off balance, trying to blow guys off the line of scrimmage. That sort of stuff with that tempo. without, not allowing the defense much time to come up for air and blow them off the line of scrimmage. Change the snap counts, do whatever they're going to do. You're about to go into a pretty hostile environment. In Florida, listen, they're 5-3, 3-2 in conference play. They're not a horrible football team. They're a little bit better than what I thought they were. I'm going to save everything else for Friday. We're going to talk more about Florida on Friday. But they did get the crap. They got stomped by 23. Now, keep in mind also, Florida has not lost a game in Gainesville. This game between them and Georgia is played in Jacksonville. Georgia went into this as a 14-point favorite, and they won by 23, so they most certainly did what they needed to do. But, yeah, so that's kind of where things kicked off. Ole Miss made Vandy feel every bit the 0-5 that they are in conference play, 33-7. I kind of thought that would be something like a 49-10 kind of game, but it ends up, 39 total points, 33-7. Tennessee on the road over Kentucky. Tennessee is about where I thought they would be. I mean, I think they're probably a 9-3 kind of football team, maybe 10-2 if things go their way. 33-27. A&M at home against South Carolina, 30-17. Auburn just beat Mississippi State. So now both Auburn and Mississippi State have conference wins. 27-13 for the Auburn Tigers on that one. I don't know, man. What's up, Ty? Love the hog round ball. I'm fired up, dude. I'm telling you, boys. I'm telling you. Philip says drain the swamp. I know what you're doing. So week 10 is going to be fascinating. Arkansas at Florida, but you've got some other games that are interesting. Texas A&M on the road in Oxford, 5-3 A&M. They're unranked. Ole Miss 7-1. Once again, I mean, Ole Miss has not fallen flat on their face this year like I thought they would. They're 7-1, number 11 in the country. Tennessee's going to host UConn. UConn's terrible. They should take care of business there. Missouri at Georgia. Some believe this could be the game of the year in SEC play. I don't think so. The line is like something Georgia favored by like 2 scores. I think it's probably going to be a Georgia. I think Georgia's going to put Mizzou right back in their place. Mizzou's got a couple decent wins. I'll give them that. Missouri, listen, I don't know. Like they actually put together, they got a pretty decent product on the field. Okay, we can make fun of Drinkowitz all day, Dorkowitz. But I think a lot of you would take him right now over what's going on at Arkansas. I think you would. Some of you were slow to admit it. I'm slow to admit it. I'm slow to admit that I am. I cannot stand the fact that this dude has gotten Missouri more or less turned around. They've got a couple of quality wins, guys. I mean, they manhandled Kansas State, who, by the way, broke back into the top 25. So, yeah, you got that going on. But I'm going to take – I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm taking Georgia, I don't know, at least by 10. Auburn and Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and then LSU and Alabama. What a weekend for the SEC, man. And that's a good one because it's 6:45 on CBS, LSU at Bama. All right. I'd take drink all day over this product we have, sisters. Oh, man. Man. Listen, Tony Brown coming around. It's football or basketball season. He's here. Listen now. No matter. He meant to say no matter how much you hate him, Drinkowitz should be on the short list if we fired Sam Pittman. I don't want to go down that. I'm not ready to even. I don't know what's going to happen. That's the thing about all of this. I have no idea what's about to happen. I don't know. And obviously not being there this week kind of sucks. I would like to have seen a little bit. Listen, they have had us in practice, the media. They have had, I should say, the writers and myself and everyone else. we've been there and not seen fastball. So I don't really know. I mean, Sam Pittman said that this is the healthiest they've been all year. And he says that while also, let me segue into what part of this video is about, Rocket Sanders. He says, we're the healthiest we've been all year. Okay, you've had Rocket Sanders before this year. He's come back. He was out, and then he came back, and then he was out again. So really the title of this video should be Rockets Return Part 2. Does he play against Florida? I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. I think there's some other websites, Razorback sites, what have you, other commentators who thought that Rocket was not going to see the field again in a Razorback jersey. Is that on the table? Because Sam said it. You guys heard it. If you were here for the warm up before we went, before I popped up on your screen, he's here. He's back. Apparently, he's been in Texas rehabbing for apparently at least 2 weeks. So if this is the healthiest you've ever been, what's going on with Rocket then? I wouldn't imagine him making that statement without the idea of Rocket coming back. Is this maybe the reason why they're not bringing the media? Because they don't want us to show Rocket? Because I guarantee you the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over to the running backs. Well, first I'm going to get footage of Kenny Guyton working with the quarterbacks, because Kenny Guyton is now working with the QBs where he belongs. And then I'm going to go watch the running backs. I'm going to go see what's going on, who's in what jersey, who's practicing, are there still braces on knees and whatnot. Just Dominic Johnson. I mean, he's going to go to bed with that thing. But that's what I'm going to do. And maybe that's what they want to not show. Maybe there's the possibility that Rocket returns this weekend. I'm still of the belief, I don't know. I feel like he's not going to see the field. Also, there's the argument, what the hell does it matter when your offensive line has been booty cheeks? What does it matter when your offensive line's been so horrible? Does it really matter who's running the ball? I mean, does it matter? They've been really bad. Kiffin would go to Fayetteville, Arkansas in a pine box. I don't know what that's. Where's that coming from? I ain't scared of no gator, says Philip White. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't. They're not. Arkansas is not going to go chasing after Kiffin. There's a realistic possibility here that, guys, you lose out. That is absolutely on the table, man. That is 110% on the table for the Arkansas Razorbacks. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. And I'm not. They shouldn't be. I think they should get at least one, maybe two more wins. But how do you justify? Let's say he only beats FIU and he loses out in the SEC. There is no way. I mean this. There's no way he should come back. There's no way. 0 quality wins, 3-9. No way. Do players lose NIL money when they don't play? I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea. I don't know how that works. I don't know. I heard people thinking Sam is a pushover and Odom lit into one of the recruits for thinking he was Johnny, I don't know what you're saying here, man. Have you hit the bottle a little early? Are you hitting the vape pen a little too hard, my man? What are you trying to say here? I heard people thinking that Sam is a pushover, and Odom lit into one of the recruits for thinking he was during 202. I don't know. Maybe Rocket comes back now that Enos hit the trail. There's always that possibility. That's something that we talked about last week. That's something we talked about last week. Is there a possibility that maybe Rocket didn't want to play in this system anymore because he knew that all it was doing was hurting his draft stock? Listen, even coming back now, even if, let's say, the offense is able to kind of scheme around, and, Stephen Hamner from QB Spotlight said this, even if you're able to kind of scheme around some of the deficiencies and some of the issues, there's not enough here to repair Rockets the damage done to Rockets draft stock. He would have to light the world on fire these final 4 games. There's just no way. Zazian, what's up, man? Kenny G wins over next 4 games. Should he get the nod? Well, you say if Kenny G wins out over the next 4 games, so the Razorbacks, if obviously with the way your defense plays, they're going to keep you in these games. I think the question is, how well does the offense perform? We know all year that special teams and defense has kept you in all of these games with the offense. We saw some spurt ability early on in the year when you go back and you look at Ole Miss, LSU, the first game of the year against a high school. You saw some spurt ability on offense, just enough to maybe put some points on the board, but that was absolutely helped by special teams. Most of it, not all of it. It was facilitated by great defensive play and special teams play, right? So, I mean, what if you do find a way to win out these last 4 games, but it was just mostly because your special teams and your defense won the majority of their battles? Special teams continues being a weapon. And your offense just did enough to get you, to get it maybe 14, 17 points on the board, did just enough, and then you won out. I don't think Kenny Guyton comes back. I think they're going to need to see a huge offensive boost for Kenny Guyton to get the shot. As long as the D holds up, the O should show new life. Right now it's 50-50. Win out, lose out. Chances are we win 2 more. Yeah, but I don't disagree, Steven. My only thing is we've seen the defense and the special teams be special all year. Like I can only think of a couple of games where special teams kind of shit the bed. Whether it's bad punts or if it's a doink or Centennial not getting an opportunity to return any punts or if it's flags on special teams. We've only really had to talk about that maybe twice this year. The defense just continuously, even though the stats don't show it, even though the numbers don't show it exactly, the defense has been prime all year. In the offense, now I get it. That was Enos. In comes Kenny Guyton. Is he enough to make the difference? I don't know. They're reducing the playbook. They're shrinking the size of the playbook. And they want to run with a little bit more tempo. They want to run the offense with more tempo. We'll see. We'll see if that's enough. 1-3. Sam has a job for 1 more year. So you think if he goes 3-9, he keeps his job, T.I.? Oh, man. I don't know about all that. I don't know because I have no idea. I could absolutely see the excuse, the excuses. We've talked about this over and over here where Hunter, I could see him spin some stuff, and there, again, I know I make fun of the who you gonna get crowd. I know that, but they also have a point. So I could see that also kind of being something that Hunter Yurchek has to, kind of figure out. He can't win conference games, so we'll never get the talent. Never get the talent needed to compete in conference. No kid wants to come lose. Basketball wins, baseball wins, track, soccer, softball, etc. Talent comes. That's a really good point, Camo. That's a really good point. That's the other side of this is hanging on to recruits, dominating in the portal. I mean, you've gone downhill since winning 9. You won 9 games, which appears to be his ceiling at the moment. And then you've gone down, down, down. You're not on an upwards trajectory. You're on a downwards trajectory. And in this day and age of college athletics, it's very rare on this kind of downwards trajectory that a coach keeps his job for 5 years based on what we've seen, based on the body of work, especially going 3-9. I just don't see it. I don't see how he keeps his job. The only way I see him keeping his job is if he beats, I don't know, if he beats Missouri maybe, if he ends the season on a win, and that's his only, let's say he beats FIU, and then he beats Mizzou. That's 4. And even then, I mean, I don't know. Hunter Yurchek made a mistake on the Pittman contract extension, to be honest, says Mike. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Shout out to the Patreon supporters. You guys were crushing it. Crushing it in Discord or Patreon. You guys get, listen, Patreon supporters. We did anytime Sam Pittman is talking with the media and I'm there in a Zoom call, if I'm in on the Zoom call, which is, I haven't missed but one all year. Well, Patreon supporters get, I type out, I do my best, type out the quotes that Sam's giving to the media. So that's just one of the ways. Also, Patreon members found out last night before, I don't think anyone even posted on social media, no one knew about it, that the media had no access this week. There's also XP bonuses or all sorts of stuff and other pages in our Discord that only Patreon supporters have access to. So please consider joining Tuss Talk with Ty Patreon. I'd say a solid win over Florida and Mizzou. Give him a shot. Oh yeah, because then you got to imagine you beat FIU. If you're good enough to go to Gainesville, and you're good enough to beat. So if you're good enough to beat those two, then I would imagine you beat FIU. And if you're good enough to beat those two, then you should be good enough to beat Auburn, right? It's not like Auburn snowplowed Mississippi State. Mark Douglas says, I have to wonder if Yurchek has been getting feelers of interest now and what weight that would have deciding. I can't read the rest. Dear YouTube, please remove your stupid ass emojis on my chat. I can't read. I'll finish that in a minute, Mark. Yeah, like, share, subscribe if you're new. Please hit the like button. Direct Service Overhead, one of the sponsors. Shout out to them. We already talked about Travis earlier. I'm telling you, man, I have a lot of fun working with those guys. But he also owns Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. He offers same-day services, emergency service, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Give him a call today at 501-244-3667. You can also hit up the link provided for you down below. And, of course, the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzeria. Fantastic stuff on tap, good pies. If you're in town and you want to, you're coming in town for when the Razorbacks return, you get yourself some cheap tickets. And I'm telling you, a lot of you end up staying. I think a lot of you have told me before, or, those of you that are in our Discord, you end up staying in Springdale. And the Odd Soul's right there in south side of town on Emma Street. So stop by and tell them Ty Hudson sent you from the Tuss Talk. I can't read your comment, Lone. I apologize. I gripe about it every show. This stupid ass emoji they put on the bottom right hand, it takes up too much of the chat, and I can't. Can I move the chat box? Boy, that would be cool, wouldn't it? If I could just move the chat box. Here we go. Now it's up. Ty, here late. What do you think about Purdue win in 2 words? I'll give you that here in just a second, man. I'm so excited to talk a little bit of basketball. Just get in Patreon, y'all. It supports our guy Ty. Aw, thank you, Mike. And he works hard to put out early stuff on here about the Hogs because he appreciates your support. There you go. Appreciate it, Mike. Okay, Mark Douglas said earlier, I have to wonder if Yurchek has been getting feelers of interest now and what weight that would have on deciding Pitt's future. So we know how this works. Another thing we've discussed is, they talk with proxies and people who they either talk with the agent or they talk to someone who is in contact with the agent, aka a proxy, right? So you're trying to gauge interest, right? And listen, you could get played. I mean, I think that happened with the Lane Kiffin stuff when he picked Ole Miss over Arkansas. State of Arkansas's program it just was not pretty. Ole Miss was in a little bit better situation, and so I mean, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think he is. I wouldn't shock me. I mean, I don't know that we'll ever know the answer to that, but Dan Tanner says bump what, Dan? What are we bumping? You bumping what someone said? Are you bumping what Steven said here? Possible Yurchek might be looking at keeping Coach P for one more year to tank the buyout. Okay. Wait a minute. Mike says turn off reactions to get rid of the heart emoji. How do you do that? Hold up. How do you do that? Turn off reactions. How do you do that? I only see ad reactions. I don't see how you remove reactions. How do you remove them? Is there? Do I do that in the edit? Is that something I should do on my edit screen? Y'all, I'm good at one thing. That's flapping my gums. All this technical stuff. It is like really annoying. And why do I have a reaction? And I don't want to remove it if you guys like using them. And if I remove it, does it allow? I don't know. I'll just have to deal with it for now. All right. So Arkansas, Florida, we'll talk more about that on Friday. Wednesday will be a very interesting day. I think Sam's going to fill us in a lot more on what's going on with Kenny Guyton in the offense. Wednesday, to me, is going to be a very key conversation with Sam, and that'll be at 2 p.m. On Zoom, I believe, between the media and Sam Pittman. So we'll have a better idea of what's going on in the offense. And maybe we'll get an answer as to what the hell's going on with Rocket. He did say today also that KJ's feeling good. Apparently, he's pretty excited about Kenny Guyton. And if you notice, Sam has to keep back, and he has to keep saying, not that I'm saying this about Dan Enos. Not that I'm saying this about Dan. Dan's a good man. Dan's offense, he said this last week. Dan's offense works or whatever. It's good, so on and so forth. I get it. They're friends. He doesn't want to – he's not going to crap all over Coach Enos, but let's be real, man. I don't know. Like, Dan was a very hands-on quarterback coach. I saw it for myself. He was very hands-on. I don't know that I ever saw that offense really excited. And that's not really something I paid much attention to. It just kind of dawns on you especially after him getting terminated, But I don't know that they were super. I don't know how to compare their emotions and the way they acted in practice because that's not really something I've paid much attention to. But I will say that this year it seemed to be pretty bleak. And maybe that was just because they knew the state of the program. They knew what was going on. But I'm talking all the way back to like fall camp. I don't know that I saw these guys like super excited, chatty, smiles on their faces, jumping up and down, like, yeah, let's go, the rah-rah stuff. I don't know that I ever saw any of that. I feel like I saw a little bit more of that when Kendall was here. I think these guys are going to like playing for Kenny Guyton. I'll tell you, I don't think it's it's not the end-all, be-all. I don't know that it's like all of a sudden it's like the missing puzzle piece. You click it in and boom, there it is. I don't know that that's what's going to happen, but you just look for some slight improvements, right, in certain areas, and then you hope that all that comes together and you see a stat sheet just filled with way more positive numbers like rushing yards. They had 3 rushing yards in the second quarter against Mississippi State. Was that right? Man, that can't happen. That can't happen. I mean, they were horrible. 3 points can't happen. Who are we kidding? They were – it's been awful. You talk about something on the decline. The offense got worse and worse as the season went on. It's not like they're rifled with injuries everywhere. I mean, yeah, no Rocket, but it's not like you're missing a whole bunch of offensive linemen. You are missing Luke Has. That's fair. But speaking to the amount of deficiencies they've had over the last several weeks, it's so much more. It's so much beyond not having Rocket and Has. It's terrible. So they've slimmed down the playbook. You remember Enos was bragging about how they had all the playbook installed. I'm so sick of talking about that. I feel like it is Chad Morris 2.0. I'm having it's like PTSD, man. I don't even want to think about all that. But we'll see what they do now with a much more reduced playbook. And I think it's going to help. Florida, I don't know that they know what to expect. I think they're probably going to prepare for up-tempo RPO. I think they're going to prepare for something similar to the veer and shoot. And that's not something Arkansas's got a lot of film on this year. You could go back to last year, but you've got different guys up front on the offensive line, different receivers, different tight ends. And you got someone else calling the plays. So it's not as if you can just pull up film from a year ago and go, oh, that's what they're going to run. Not exactly, but something similar maybe. Guyton might not be the missing piece, but Enos might be a dead weight anchor. They cut the rope. Yeah. Not much tie, just taking care of some kids. Hey, well, I hear you, man. I hear you. Like Windows 98 on my old Dell, our offense is 33% installed. There you go, baby. 33% installed. Yeah. We're so close. Is that enough, you think? Do you think shrinking and shrinking the playbook and, getting someone else to call the plays, is that going to be it? How much of it is a personnel issue? I don't know. All right. Let's get into some hoops, baby. Arkansas beats Purdue in OT. They are their fans are all kinds of butthurt. Well, I tell you what, Big Ten fans, they can't. I mean, we've certainly seen worse. Alabama basketball fans. You know how they discovered the sport of basketball and now they think they're God's gift to the earth. Please, Ole Miss fans, don't do that. Please just know your place. All right. And to be fair, it's not like Arkansas's had much to brag on pre-Eric Musselman, right? After Nolan, before Muss, you've got this huge just black eye that shouldn't exist. You got two black eyes that shouldn't exist to begin with. How you go from like Eddie Sutton, Nolan Richardson, even though he got off to a little bit of a slow start, and then he kind of ended a little rough, those last few years. But still, you go from Sutton, it's like, oh, we could make the Elite Eight. We could maybe make a Final Four every other year. And then to Nolan, it's like, damn, we should be in the Elite Eight, Final Four like every year. To then all of a sudden being like, damn, I hope we make the tournament. It's crazy. But Arkansas's got a lot more room to talk than some of these schools that have been talking that shit. These teams talking that shit. Know your place, baby. There's only a few schools like Duke who you've had some problems with, right? You got them coming to town. North Carolina's kind of got your number. Obviously, when you talk about school history, those are two programs. Kentucky, right? Florida, I don't know. That's a difficult one because, Billy Donovan took them to back-to-back titles before he left for Oklahoma State. But I still think, I'd still put Arkansas as above Florida as a basketball program despite those two national championships. But Purdue fans a little bit butthurt, and it's fun. It's good. I loved it. Brazil and Mark ended up tying for points, 15 points apiece. I'd say the thing that kind of stands out, if you want to talk about negatives, I thought early on, and early on, man, they did give up. I thought they gave up more uncontested shots, and that was really credit to Purdue because their ball movement out in the perimeter was fantastic. And they had time to set their feet, pop that elbow out, and then it's all in the wrist, baby. It's all in the wrist. It was just no one really there, no Razorback defender there. But that only really happened the first, to where it was where you saw it every other time Purdue had the ball and they were shooting the three. It didn't happen every single series, or every single trip down to their end of the floor. But it felt like someone was always wide open, mostly because of their ball movement. And then Arkansas completely clamped them down. all of a sudden they were chased out off the perimeter. There were no open shots after the first initial, like, I shouldn't say there were none. There were certainly a few more, but after the first 4 or 5 minutes, when Arkansas kind of found their place defensively, they found the matchups they wanted. Shout out to Lawson and that massive wingspan of his. I mean, the way they handled Edey, I mean, yeah, he still ended up with a pretty decent game, 15 points. He was 50%, 7 of 8 at the free throw line, 9 rebounds. He almost had a double-double. Of course, fouled out in overtime. But you contained him. He wasn't a major factor from a offensive standpoint. 15 points isn't bad. I mean, that's the high for anybody on the floor. Everyone tied at 15 points. Mark, Brazil, Lawyer, and Edey. And yeah, I think that's right. So I thought they did a good job of containing Edey, but I'm not digging the rebounds here. 42 to your 28 is that's something. The turnovers, 15 turnovers, that's entirely too many. I saw a lot of poor shot selection, especially in the first half, in the first 7 or 8 minutes. It's like, oh, look, I'm open. I'm just going to shoot the three, even though this is not my shot. Brazil, though, 50%, 2 of 4 outside. He was 5 for 5 at the free throw line. Isn't that nice to see? Someone that size knocking him down 100% at the free throw line. He ended up with a surprising 5 rebounds. I would have guessed 8 or 9. That's not horrible, though. He also ended up with an assist, 2 turnovers. Devo with the 3 turnovers. We've talked about this every year he's been here. It's high risk, high reward with him sometimes. And, he did shoot. People forget this. He shot 41% in SEC play last year. He shot 41% outside perimeter, 3-point shooting. He shot 41%. But then he would also turn the damn ball over. He would lead you in turnovers for 3 or 4 consecutive games in a row. It's high risk, high reward. I absolutely do believe he can be a guy. I don't mean he's going to be clutch at the final minutes of a game, although we've seen him absolutely put on shows towards the end of games before. But I believe, and this happened last year, he could put this team on his shoulders and make something happen. A little bit too much tea there. Yeah, I think Devo's he has the capacity to be a great two-way player for Arkansas, but I'm excited about Lawson. I'm excited about Mark. I'm excited about Ellis. Ellis just kind of making things happen when he drives. He can make things happen. He is fun to watch when he drives to the rim. He really is. He was 50%, 1 of 3 outside. Going over here to the home stats really fast. We got to see Blocker. Blocker got some minutes. He ended up with 8 minutes, 6 points, 3 of 4 from the floor. It says he has 3 fouls. He had 3 fouls? In 8 minutes of play, he got 3 fouls? I knew he had at least 1. I didn't realize he had 3 fouls. Lawson had 4, and Tremont Mark had 4 fouls. And then, of course, Mekhi Mitchell would foul out. That's something to keep an eye on. Layden Blocker gets 8 minutes, and he had 3 pretty quick fouls there. That's not, look, he's a freshman. He's just got to get used to it, right? Arkansas's bench with 27 points. They had 34 points in the paint. That is a little bit higher than I thought. It really is, especially with, again, how big and physical. They are a typical Big Ten basketball team. They're just really good, and they have Edey. They've got really good guard play. I think the thing, they asked, I forget which one they asked about their turnovers. How much of that was on you, Purdue, or the Razorbacks? And he said, it was on us. I hope they went back and watched film today and they go, oh, shit, their hands are super active. I was wrong. Foot in mouth, head up ass. They were really active. I was so impressed. This was – and also I think they have a longer wing. They seem lengthier out there on the floor. They play with length and athleticism. I don't know that I've seen. I don't know. I can't remember the last time this team had this kind of speed up and down the floor, this level of athleticism. We've always seen Musselman's players play all the way through. That's nothing new. That's what they all do. They all fight to the very end. I think the level of skill here, I don't want to say it, but I want to say it. This could be one of the most skilled teams he has coached in college basketball, along with the most experience that he's ever had. Or at least, I don't know at Nevada. I think his last couple of years in Nevada, he had a pretty senior-led team, if I remember right. But I was just very impressed, and what little we've kind of got to see. I mean, really, in the broad scheme of things, we haven't seen, like, we got to get some more games under our belt. But this game showed a lot. They could play at a very, very high level. I mean, they scored 81 points on a team that gave up only 62 points a game last year. Now, some of that, I will tell you, is it victim of circumstances? I don't know how to say it. The Big Ten is not a massive scoring conference, right? They're not the Big 12 or the ACC. They're just a defensive. When you think of Big Ten basketball, and I watched a little bit last year, you think of big, physical, long wingspans, but they're not exactly up and down the floor quite like some of these other conferences. They're a little bit slower, and their scoring pace is not – it doesn't seem to be as high as some of these other conferences. So I think some of that is where that comes from, but they did play a number of teams that are capable of scoring well into the low 70s, mid-70s on average and shut them down last year. So Arkansas scoring 81 points. Yeah, they went into overtime, whatever. It's still really impressive. Now, Bud Walton – I don't think they were really shell-shocked by Bud Walton. As they said in post-game, we've played in crazy environments before, but I think they did have a little bit of an impact on these guys for sure. How can you not? 19,000-something fans, almost 20,000 screaming Razorback fans inside Bud Walton. I mean, come on, dude. The most senior-led team, they're going to get shook a little bit inside that place. I've been in there when it's been wild. It's absolutely crazy. The decibels go through the roof. So I hope you guys have got to experience that. If you haven't, oh man, it is like it's like nothing you've ever. It's like being at a conference or a conference. It's like being at a concert when, I don't know, when your favorite band or whatever hits that chorus and everyone just goes nuts, right? It's like that, only inside a little bit smaller space. Very, very intense. So. Yeah, Trevon Brazile, I liked what I saw. He ended up with a block. Arkansas had 7 blocks in this game. That was another thing. The only thing I would harp on, it is the turnovers. 15 turnovers is just too many, but they had 13 assists. That's not bad, right? I mean, I think we talked about this last year. Like, that's a pretty good number. You're going to take 13 assists, but you've got to lower that turnover ratio. The assist-to-turnover ratio matters so much in this game, and you're not going to win a lot of games with 15 turnovers, right? That's something they're going to have to get fixed. How deep this team is a representation of those 27 bench points. That's the representation of what this team's about, 27 bench points. Are they going to do that every game? No, probably not. But you feel, again, as though this is it is the deepest team he's ever had. Musselman's admitted as much. I love the 34 points. I love the 34 points in the paint. That's not a big number. It's not. But against Purdue, I would have guessed like 24, 25 points. Maybe the rest was them, knocking down some outside shots. Because, we've heard all offseason how they've got some shooters. Pinions kind of turn things around. I would have guessed something like that unless you get some fast break points, which they did. They got 10. They got 10 fast break points. So, yeah. All right. I need to borrow $5 for what? Brian Fraser, what are you talking about? Graham going to get left behind. Yeah, unfortunately for Graham, there's a lot of smoke out there as to whether or not what the hell's going on with Graham, right? Like and we know it's back spasms, and there's some people who seem to believe, based on what Musselman said, they're believing that he may not get an opportunity to, he's going to fall back because they're so freaking deep, right? And we talked about this Saturday with Don't Read the Comments podcast guys, Tim and Travis. Pinion's going to get left behind. It's not because he's not a good player. It's just you've got more experience and some better options. What do you need? What do you need to borrow $5 for, Brian? What are you talking about? Ty, you picked Purdue. No, I didn't. Go back. If you're in our Discord, go back and look. I picked Arkansas. Does anyone else think that our best closing lineup probably doesn't include Devo? That is something to consider, right? Like, just those guys starting are obviously not going to be the same 5 closing. And Devo, of course, couldn't finish that game because he got hurt. He got banged up. He headbutted the largest player in college basketball. Oh, that's crazy. Muss always has a good defense. Hopefully, with their experience, we won't have many fouls as last year. Yeah, they got to cut down on fouls. Last year we saw them. One of the things that they improved on was turnovers. The assist to turnover ratio in the fouling got a little bit better as the year went on. But I would love to see them fill up the scoring stat sheets this year. I would love to pull up SEC stats on secsports.com and see Arkansas with some guys, a couple guys in the top 5 in certain categories, scoring categories. That wasn't really something we saw much of. I would love to see them stretch the floor, and whether it's Devo, whether it's Trevon Brazile, who's shooting 50%. I don't know what he did in the last game. Did he not? No, he didn't play, right? No way. Did he play in their game against UT Tyler? Why do I feel like I don't remember what the hell happened in that game? I know they beat the shit out of those guys. Why do I not know if Brazile played or not? I do not have any memory of that cat playing that game. He didn't he? Bro, I'm having a brain fart. I do not remember. I've put that game so far behind me, I forgot whether or not he played. I don't think he did. Hold on. Or if he did, I don't feel like he got a lot of minutes. If I could pull this up. No, he did play. No, I'm okay. No, he did. It just he wasn't super active. I'm going to pull up his stat sheet. What did he do against UT Tyler? Hang on. Pull up. Yeah. There it is. Okay. No, he got 19 minutes. He had 4 points. Okay. 0 for 4 outside in that game. Maybe that's why we don't remember whether or not he played. He didn't do much. He had 4 points. He had just 3 rebounds. No assists. Couple of turnovers. Yeah, he didn't have a great game with 19 minutes. That's why we of course, it's UT Tyler. That's why you just don't really look into it much. That's why I kept thinking Purdue was their first exhibition game. I was thinking before this they only had the red-white. I just completely zoned out on these guys. But Brazile ended up with 19 minutes, but he only had 4 points. He was 2 of 7 overall shooting. No free throw attempts. 0 for 4 outside. Is that going to be his game? Is he going to take 4 shots a game outside? And if so, can he knock down a couple a game? I don't care who it is. I'd love to see them stretch the floor and do a little bit more damage. Yeah, Khalif Battle had a good game. He had 14 points, 4 for 4 at the free throw line against UT Tyler. No turnovers. Who's this with 6 rebounds? Yeah, Bayfall. That's right. Bayfall had 6 rebounds. Devo had 7 because Devo's will randomly have 8 or 9 rebounds in a game. I put this game so far behind me. Ellis laid his body on the line for them layups. I was very impressed. Very impressed with Ellis. I don't know that there's nothing about this game with Purdue. Again, other than I felt like some of the shots in the opening 5 minutes or so, like Purdue was wide open, but you have to give Purdue credit. I mean, they were really moving the ball out in the perimeter. They did a really good job. How do you like Arkansas shooting 13 of 17 at the free throw line, too? That's what you should be shooting at home. It's almost 77%. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I mean, I'd love to see that number go up, too. Can we break 80% at home just once this year? I bet they can. They got some dudes, man. Lawson went 3 for 3. Brazile 5 for 5. Ellis 1 for 1. Mark, there's your 4 of 8. 4 of 8. Got to do better. Should have hit 6 of 8, Mark. What are you doing? Battle had 12 points in this game, so that's back-to-back games for Battle having double digits. 5 of 11 shooting. Yeah, again, I really liked what I saw. 0 second chance points, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw that. 0. And they had just 1 offensive rebound. Yeah, see, those are 2 areas too. Like, all right. In Arkansas, this game was tied up 6 different times. Arkansas led this game for nearly 23 minutes. They had the lead. So there you go. All right. Yeah, not bad. Not shabby. The defense, though, it's okay. I'm not going to say that part out loud, but yeah. Absolutely love Devo. Just think Ellis, Mark, and Battle should be the guys in the game when it matters most, is Ryan Jones. It's hard to argue with that. It's hard to argue with that logic because Devo is a wide. You don't know what to expect out of him sometimes. He is the heart and soul of this team. He can absolutely put these guys on his shoulders and you know, absolutely just I don't want to say dominate on the offensive end of the floor, but could be a difference maker. He has that in him in you know, when it matters most, he's come through for Arkansas. Devo in a 6-man role would be great. Totally agree. Devo isn't getting left behind, says Tony Brown. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's just hard to imagine Devo getting left. I don't see that happening at all. Tony, he's not going to get left behind. I think he'll probably, for the most part, remain a starter. But I do believe as a closer, I could see him getting, you know, some minutes reduced in the final 5 or 6 minutes of a ball game where he's on the bench. Maybe they bring him in for the final 30 seconds or final minute, depending on the score and what's happening on the floor and the matchups, which also matter. Lashin in says, yes, he did. Who did what? What are you talking about? Devo should play in clutch moments. Again, he's a wild card. I don't have a problem if the guys that are playing, that are closing the game out, are doing what's necessary, right? To win those games, making clutch plays, making free throws, whatever. Then that's fine. But if you are struggling to close games out, but who knows? They may not be concerned about closers. It may be like, you know what? We're fine. We're going to beat people by 15 points a game, by God. I'm kidding. I'm knock on wood. Don't come at me. Somebody on Bleacher Report said NIL has something to do with him not playing. Yeah, again, I don't know who y'all are talking about here. The freshman blockers is a good basketball player. Yeah. I thought you were going to shave your head. Why? What do you keep going on about? Why shave my head for what? My stomach is eating my backbone. I'm so hungry. Okay. That was necessary information. Thank you. Ellis is a scorer, whatever you need. Tough layup. Yep. Okay. Quick short range. No problem. Need a 3. I got you. Yeah. I think he's going to be a pretty good. If he's not a 2-level scorer, he could be a 3-level scorer. I absolutely believe that. Why would I shave my head? What I think I said, if Arkansas beats Florida, or no, if Arkansas wins out, I would shave my head. Is that what I said? I think I said if Arkansas wins out, I would shave my head or something. I don't know. Who you gonna get? I love it. Yeah, I picked Purdue, by the way. Again, you can go look at it. I mean, the prediction's there. Arkansas, go look at Discord, and then go look on Patreon forums, and then or not Patreon forums. I'm sorry, the regular main chat forums. And I picked Arkansas. You just scroll on down. XP has been given out for that game, and you can see where Ty Hudson picked the Hogs. But I will say I struggled. I did struggle a little bit making that pick. Because Arkansas was dealing with a lot of, there's a lot of change with this roster, a lot of turnover. You know, granted, they are older, more experienced guys, but anytime you have that kind of that many new faces on a roster, you don't know if they're going to all gel together against a team of Purdue's quality. I did say that on Saturday. I said I had a little bit of a tough time. My confidence in my pick was not high, but I did pick them. Thoughts on do you think Blocker are going to play a role in the backcourt? Do you think Devo got a lot of – yeah, they're saying that he didn't have a concussion. JV's Hangout says, so we went out. I don't remember why. Why did I say I was going to shave my head? I did say I would, but I'm pretty sure I said I would do it if they would win out. If Arkansas football won out. And that's already not happened because they lost to Mississippi State because I made that pick before Mississippi State. Devo isn't in concussion protocol. Yeah, he's not in. Yeah. It's okay, Ty. I've picked my nose. We've all made mistakes. Okay. Fall is immensely talented, just isn't going to see the floor much until he could be trusted to guard SEC caliber centers. He just isn't strong enough for that yet. Yeah, I mean, maybe against some of these scrubs along the way, he'll get some playing time. I'm sure he will, but yeah, in SEC play. Ty's hair is safe once again. That's right. It ain't going nowhere. The luscious brown locks. I don't have my glasses. About the picks, what about them? What about the picks? We didn't do a World Series pick this year in Discord. We forgot to do it. Damn it. If anyone's new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that way you know when I'm going live. So we had the watch party on Saturday was awesome. That was a lot of fun, man. You guys were a hoot in chat. You guys were a hoot. Sound like I'm in my 70s with that vocabulary. We are going to do more. We have, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do Stanford or not. I think we're kind of talking about doing this Bahamas tournament. We might try to do one or two. I don't know what the plan is yet. We're still a little ways away from that. That's November 22nd through the 24th. But we are for sure going to do Duke on November 29th. We're going to do another watch party for Duke. Really looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys will come along. I think we're probably going to try and do more and more of these watch parties or game companions. A lot of fun, man. And again, you guys were awesome in chat. You know, all you had to do was, we had some people that complained they were way ahead of us. All you got to do is we try to give you updates, where we're at on the game. All you do is you pause your TV, and then we get caught up. We get in sync. We get in sync, right? And then you can listen to us instead of those damn announcers that are hating on your hogs. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, yeah. I have another baby on the way. Wow. All right. Congrats, Wyatt. Hey, man. Did you not just have a kid? Are you not the guy that just had a kid? Wyatt, bro, slow down. I'm just kidding, man. Congratulations. That's awesome. I say the baseball team wins the World Series. Okay. Are we just going to say things? Are we just going to say just whatever comes out of our mouth? I'm kidding. I think they're going to be really good this year. I really do. Got to repopulate. Oh, man. Okay. I do appreciate you guys. Again, on your way out, please make sure you like the content at the very least. Tercer says, I love Lamp. I love Lamp. Yeah. All right, Haas. Thanks for that, sir. Appreciate that. If you guys are watching this after the fact, again, same for you guys. Make sure you share the content. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll be back. Should be back on Wednesday because we got to go over what Sam tells us. I think Wednesday is going to be very telling for what to expect on Saturday. We're going to get some more updates on Rocket and just kind of how KJ's doing, because by then they would have had 2 more practices up until Wednesday. So we'll know a little bit more about what's going on and what to expect on Saturday as the Razorbacks take on the Florida Gators down in Gainesville. I will have that prediction up later in Discord. I'm going to try and get that up today. So, yeah, you wouldn't love me if I about fell in my chair. Oh, you guys. Okay, I'll see you on Wednesday. Behave. And, yeah. All right. I'll see you on Wednesday.